Yeah. Horses that fall in on circles. This is a great progression exercise before you lunge your horse. So I've got 4 cones here set up in a circle. Let's call it a circle. Please don't panic about what size must it be, Nika. Just imagine about 15 meters, 20 meters. The bigger, the better really with this, because if we have the circle, you just holding that for me, thank you. If you have the circles, the cones too small, it just gets too tight. So we're just going to start by walking around the cones. And let's do, as we are challenging our skills, let's actually start on the right. So I'm going to start on the right side. I'm going to walk myself around the cone. He's going to follow me around. We can do that once and then move over. So let's do a figure of 8. Now he's on the inside of this cone, and the aim is to keep him as close to the cone as you can, but with his head and neck. So it is a lot tighter. I'm just going to do it one more time. He needs to slow his paces down here, his strides. So it is a lot harder for him. I'm just going to guide him round, show him where to go with my hands. I'm now going to go to this cone down here. I'm on the inside, which is a little bit easier for me. Walk it round, walk him round, walk him round. Good boy. And now the last cone on this side. Slow my walk down a little bit so he knows to slow down. Guide him round, guide him round, guide him round. Good lad. That's one version of doing this. If you feel more confident, I would really recommend doing this walking backwards. So let's try the walking backwards. I'm going to go this time on the left. First of all, get my bearings. The cone is coming up behind me. I stick my body around the cone as he walks further around me as well. Now look at my stick hand. My stick hand is just encouraging him to stay forward from behind. Then I'm going to come out of this exercise. I'm going to walk backwards, make sure again I don't fall over, because you get a bit dizzy if you stick on the same spot. Again, I'm walking around the cone, and I'm going to ask him just to step round as well. So before I continue, I'm just going to show you what I'm doing, because it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, this makes sense, but I need to make sure that actually I'm explaining what I'm doing as the handler. So the hand that's leading the nose, the neck and the shoulders is really important. If you have your hand tucked in here, the horse's head will come with you and you'll probably get head-butted. So make sure that this hand that's guiding him round is very secure. I'm not holding it with a lot of pressure, but I have a nice, comfortable, confident grip. Can you see how I'm extending my left hand? I extend it out. I don't keep it in, it's out. And then my stick hand is just holding the stick there. If you don't feel comfortable holding the stick, just drop the stick, okay? Now look at the horse's body, and you want to almost imagine that he's in like a little banana shape around the circle. So imagine a banana and his body is like a banana. Good boy. I'm just going to stand him up there, reward him. If your horse is doing that movement in that fluency, he's relaxed, he's not falling in, move on to the next exercise. And the reason I say this is good for lunging is because I'll show you the progression on how it works for lunging. So if we just go back to, I encourage him forward with my left hand and say walk on. And then as we both get more confident, actually this is a good point. Before you ask your horse to go off on the lunge, just never have knots in your reins. So, hello. Make sure we just loop it up with no knots, so that when I'm asking him to go further on the circle, I allow the rope just to fall out of my hands. Let's try this again. So, I'm going to ask him to walk forward around the cone, so we're doing nothing different, just going to walk forward. Then as I'm keeping the stick hand out, the left hand is giving him more rope to go out. Good, good, Good boy. When he's out and he's relaxed, I release the pressure with a stick and the stick comes down. If I was to keep my stick up and continue to put more pressure, it'd probably go into trot. A lot of horses that tend to turn in on the lunge and face you, it's because you're not encouraging them to go forward behind enough. If you look at my body and imagine a line going from my belly button towards his elbow. So that's my line, right? I've got an imaginary line there. If I step in front of that, like this, that's when a lot of horses can tend to come in. And if you go behind the line, you tend to drive them further forward. That's a really good gauge. If you're thinking my horse keeps turning in on the circle, ask yourself, are you in front of that shoulder or behind? Sorry, in front of the elbow or behind the elbow? Good lad.